Well, Pontoon's a member of the HRO Today Association for a number of reasons, but for us, they all really revolve around being part of a community of leaders in our space and having the opportunity to engage, whether that's with forward-thinking providers who we compete with in the market but have great views on the industry and where we're headed, and the opportunity to exchange those views in dialogues about trends, market segments, things that are evolving in our space, or in some cases the opportunity to engage with practitioners, whether that's to offer best practice or our suggestions or experience, but really being part of that community who's focused on this segment of our industry and really looking at all aspects of talent, whether that's contingent or permanent or freelance, etc. As our industry continues to become more complex and evolves, being front and center with an organization of like-minded professionals is very valuable to us as an organization, and we would like to think that sharing our perspective and viewpoint in the industry is valuable to others as well. One of the things that we've seen continue to evolve really over the last 12 months and pick up pace more quickly is complexity. And we see this complexity start to intermingle within all aspects of the industry, whether that's the number of technologies available in the HR space, whether that's the view of starting to blur the edges of contingent versus permanent and really break away from those silos and specific focuses. But what we see is that all drives complexity in the industry. And as a provider, we feel like that's both opportunity for us, but recognize that creates an environment that's more and more difficult for practitioners to navigate. And so our view is that this will only continue, particularly in the area of technology. I get asked very often, what's really one of the factors, the main factors that's shaping your industry? And in our opinion, or my opinion, I feel like technology is one of those. There is no magic silver bullet that's going to manage talent. And so the ability to understand that technology ecosystem, the ability to recognize the strategy of the business and the complexities that an individual business faces, and then being able to pull from that technology ecosystem the right components, the right tools, the right application, and fit those together in a well-orchestrated way to solve those business challenges and drive strategy. That's the complexity, and that's something that we see is only going to increase. One of the things that we have seen and see increasingly is this concept of talent as part of the strategy, where traditionally companies would think through, I'm a manufacturer, I'm a technology company, whatever their line of business was, what do we need to do to drive the business? And then the second discussion would be, okay, now what talent do I need to enable that? Whereas what we're starting to see is that talent component is actually becoming part of the strategy discussion. So it's not, let me figure out what we need to do and then go figure out how I fill that with people. It's looking at where is available talent globally. What types of skill sets exist? What types of skill sets don't exist, and where am I going to face challenges? Those discussions are now being moved earlier into the concept to really shape the strategy of an organization, as opposed to being an afterthought after the strategy discussions have been had. So for us, we see the role of a chief HR officer only increasing in a business, and the influence in the advisory capacity to really drive the strategy of an organization being driven more and more from the HR suite and those teams versus, again, being a team that gets consulted after those decisions have already been made.